All right, guys, welcome to another YouTube video. So in today's video, I have Cheikh Keita. So it's been a while.
It's
It's been a minute. It's been a minute,
been a
bro.
very long
It's been a
time.
minute,
Yeah,
bro.
it's been
So how
yeah.
you been?
Yeah, I've been pretty good actually.
What
How
have you been
about
up
you?
to? I've been good,
Well,
man. I've been good. What you been up to?
mostly focusing on work and little project here and there and personal project as well. Nothing really crazy because recently this year we haven't been able to do like very much except that just focusing on ourselves and then like learn how to grow and be able to learn different things and what is essential mostly. So that's what I've been up to and
So like,
focusing on career wise. Yep.
yeah, no, you're saying like focusing on like the growth this year. So like, has this year been
Yeah.
like? How's your year been so far? Has it been a little bit
Yeah.
tougher? Has it been
No,
okay?
yeah, I've said that it's been pretty good despite the current pandemic. But I'm very grateful for all the opportunities that came my way, and then I've been able to stay in job because I noticed that a lot of people lost their job during
Yeah,
this
of
pandemic.
course, of course.
But even though that I wasn't working on the field, but it's been pretty good
Yeah.
because I've been able to keep my job. I've been able to learn a lot of things. I've been able to invest my time in a more productive way, I would say.
Yeah. Well, for those who don't know, what do you do?
So I'm working at the TD Canada Trust,
Okay.
and then I'm also working as a financial analyst
Yep.
on my part on my side. I would say out
Like
of work.
side
Uh,
hustle.
yes, I can. We say that side hustle. Yeah, I will say that.
So
Yeah.
you're the entrepreneur then. I mean, I already know you're an entrepreneur, but like
I would say yes and no because
yeah.
I
Okay.
haven't really put myself out there.
Yeah.
So I would consider that as my personal project, like not really benefiting anyone, but just my small little project that I'm working on right now.
Do you have like what's your goal with this small project though? Are you trying to like enhance it? Or are you trying to just keep it? Or are you just trying to keep it like kind of? Because I guess because you work at TD, right? So
Yes,
it kind of ties into the financial analyst kind of side.
analysis.
Do you
Yeah,
find
yeah.
that like it kind of like what's the word for it? It kind of like helps each other, complements each other.
Complement each other?
Yeah.
Not really, because with Activity Canada Trust, I'm mostly in the sales position,
Okay.
where as my other side hustle, I would
Yeah.
say, I'm mostly into the chart analysis and learning about the forex and the financial market overall. So it's still the same industry, but it's two different things related. Yeah, I would say.
Interesting. I mean, do you have like any financial tips for people who say like someone just started off, right? They have $1,000 in their bank account and they want to kind of get
Yes.
into like the financial world. Do you have any like tips for that type of person?
I will say that even in Canada, like invest in your TFSA. That's
FSA?
the best advice I can tell you. Yeah, a tax-free saving account. Because I will say
Why
that
that one?
that's golden. Because well, if you when you do invest in a tax-free saving account, all
Mm-hmm.
the income that you're earning are
Yep.
tax-free, I would say, and your money can grow tax-free.
Mm.
Whereas when you invest in a different account, non-registered account, your finances are subject to are taxable, I would say. So I will say that the government of Canada made a really good job by offering the TFSA to the people that living here. So it's a great advantage that people can take up to if they are looking for a long-term growth.
Actually, I gotta look into that because
Yeah.
something like for me, like as much as like I'm really like into like entrepreneurship and stuff like that, but like something that
Mhm.
I've always been like kind of like I've always been decent with my finances, but like in terms of like growing my finances in terms of like you know like just getting like a stocks or whatever like the financial world, I've always been
Yeah.
a little bit not clueless, but like I've never really
Mhm.
like delved into that world again like yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've seen
I totally understand because like I would say I was reading a book and it was mentioning about when you don't have like an expertise in if you don't have a lot of knowledge in industry,
yeah.
better leave it to the expert. Like find someone that very knowledgeable about the product, or
Yeah.
like for example for tax, I would say find someone that very expert so he can give you like great tips while focusing on your industry, on your area of growth, on your area of product. So as you mentioned, like yours is entrepreneurship.
Hmm.
You are very into entrepreneurship.
Right.
So for finances, you can try to figure it out, but better leave it to an expert, that someone that dedicated for it. So it actually help you
Hmm.
save some time and be more productive on focusing on what you're really good at doing. I
Yeah,
say
you're right. You're right. It's true too. So sometimes even like in terms of when you're growing a business too, like obviously when you're starting
yeah,
off, you have to do everything yourself. But once you get a
that's
team,
right.
you need that
Hmm.
certain person. So that happens too. And I've actually heard that too. Like, but what
Yeah.
about like accountants? Like I know that sometimes, like I don't know, sometimes people are like some accountants, like aren't that reliable, or some accountants. Like in terms of that, do you think that like that a person should get an accountant, or should they get like a financial analyst? Or I know there's one that's called, I think it's WFG. There's different types of
Um,
like financial, like what are your thoughts on those ones then?
Services. So I will say that accounting and finances are two different topics.
Yeah.
So basically, the accounting, like some accounting are really good. Like
Mhm.
it's mostly managing your cash flow,
Yeah,
like
for
your
sure.
asset, your liability. It's good to have like a good accounting system in order to find your profits, your net, your loss, and all the stuff, and figure out all your finances.
Hmm.
So I will say that it's good to work with an accountant, because there is an accountant can help you save a lot of money, especially tax wise.
Yeah,
Because
tax.
a lot of people don't know, like when you don't have a business account, there's a lot of expenses that you can write off that can help you actually save more money, or like a little bit reduce your tax. When it's come to finances, I will say that there is a lot of company, I will say, that offer financial services and financial advice, because we notice that a lot of in North America, a lot of Canadians are not confident about the personal banking.
Of
And
course, I agree.
talking about money is a very like is a very sensible topic, because
Hmm.
it's people they are no one want to talk about their revenue, no one want to talk about their finances. So I will say that there is different company, like as you mentioned, WFG, that I think it's a great company, because they do offer, they're working as a broker, and
Hmm.
they do offer a multitude of services to individual like you and me, that doesn't really know a lot about finances, and then they are able to actually provide you a wide variety of product that will
Right.
be suitable, that will be suiting your need, and whereas when you go to a bank, true, you do have like a financial advisor there to help you like with your finances, sort it out, your banking need and other stuff. But the product that we are offering are specifically targeted to that branch, to that bank. Let's say that you go to BMO. A BMO advisor will just sell you all the mutual fund that related to his work, like BMO, because at the end of the day, they want to have more profit
Hmm.
as for the bank in general. I suppose that if you go, for example, to a broker, a financial brokerage firm like WFG, or in your current, like they work with different bank and different entity that can actually provide you more services. So I'm not part of it,
Of
like I'm
course,
not
of
dealing
course.
with them,
I have
but
friends that are part of it, and I've always been
yeah.
curious because
Mhm, mhm.
it's actually very interesting that you mention all this stuff because
Yeah.
like I didn't know that the topic was going to talk about this, but how
Mhm.
important like do you feel like, because especially now, like one thing that I try to do in terms of my finances is like
Yeah.
the way it started for me was I had student loans, and
Mm-hmm.
I remember the feeling when I was in student loan debt, right? The feeling,
Yes.
just feeling so like I felt like a
Um,
slave.
like a
You know what I
slave, yeah,
mean?
you are, yeah, yeah,
And
I totally
like
understand. Yeah.
that's when I realized, and it's funny we're talking about this. That's when I realized how important it is to take care of your finances. After I took out my student loans, like my finances have been like more on point. Now I
Mhm.
know how to like save. I know how to like spend my money on like certain things,
So
and
I think
even
so.
my financial decisions have been better. Like, do you
Better,
feel
yeah.
how important like we already know? Like, I know a lot of people we're all intimidated, but how important is it to really take care of your finances in especially in 2020, bro? Like, what do you think?
Well, I will say that this year has taught us a very good lesson about
Mm,
financial and finance management, because in occurrence, when the pandemic started, a lot of people, for example, people that were working like paycheck to paycheck, didn't really didn't really think about saving up money and other stuff. When the pandemic hit, a lot of people like lost their job and start wondering how they will be paying the loan, their rent, and all stuff. Thanks God that we did have the help of the government that provided the serve for people in order to not feel it. But can you imagine someone that didn't even think about saving up
yeah.
a lump sum amount of money? Like it's just the end. Like you are just lost. You don't know what you'll be doing. So I will say that and finance management is really, really, really important, especially budgeting. Know what's coming in, know where you spend your money, like, and then especially with a credit card system and loan system, it's very easy to get off track. It's very easy to get off track. For example, you do have a credit card for 5,000 and you have like a monthly or a week bi-weekly income of 2,000. I would say you have to pay the rent, you have to pay your grocery, you have like a little bit of money that you need to put aside in order for saving. But when at the end of the day, when you finish to do all those budgets, and then you have like a credit card of like 5,000 that you need to pay it off because you actually didn't have enough fund to cover that. It's just as you mentioned, like you feel like a slave because at the end of the day, like you work not for yourself, but you work for someone else. In occurrence, I was reading a book recently called The Richest Man of Babylon,
Yep. Yep.
and this book it's amazing. Like it help you change your mindset and your way of thinking about your finances, because let's say that when you work, actually, for example, like 10 hours, like an hour for, let's say, $10 an hour, the $100 that you made in the day, at the end of the day, like when you go pay your shoes, or like you'll be paying like your rent, or you'll be paying your, I would say, your food, the money that you earn actually are not for you because it's not benefiting you. You are working actually for the food maker. You are working for your landlord because you have to pay the rent. You are working for like the shoe company because you have to pay the shoe. The money is not benefiting from you. So I will say that it's very important to know how to budget, and then especially saving, have a emergency fund, because nowadays, like, it's very easy to get off track because we have so many distractions that actually product that you don't really need but feel that you want to buy it like instantly. So budgeting is the key, and being on top of a budget in order to save up money for future day, because at the end of the day you also have to think about long term. What will be in 10, 20 years? Will you be in the same position? In terms of that, your different goal that you have, I would say that it's very important.
So like in terms of like saving, right? Do you recommend
Yeah.
like because I've heard like this like people say like maybe you should put like 5%, 10% of whatever you make into like a
Mm-hmm.
certain fund. Like do you recommend people doing that kind of thing, like putting it into like a savings account or something along those lines?
Well, is at the it depends of your goal. It
Hmm.
really depends because each person have a different need and goal.
Of course.
So for me, I'm not giving you, so just a disclaimer, I'm not financial advisor. I'm not giving you any
Hey, yeah.
finance or also. I'm just
Just
talking about
offering
myself.
insights. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Of course.
like
Of
offer,
course.
like just give you some tip as well.
Of course. Of
So
course.
talking about the question that you asked about the saving and the and fund investment and all the stuff, I would say that a saving account should be an account that you have for like in short term, like money that you need like in short term. For example,
Hmm.
you open a checking account and a saving account at the institution, but the saving account right now, the interests are not really that great. You're not making any money on that because it
Right.
should be considered as a holding at a holding account, like money that you need in a short period of time that you don't really need to touch it. And
Mm-hmm.
then I will say that if you do have more, if your income help you, or like you have more income you can put aside, invest. It's always good to put it in an investment fund like mutual fund or ETF or GIC. It's really depend on your need, and there's expert out there that can definitely give you more advice where to put your money. It's depending on, is as I mentioned, it's depend on your personal goal. Like
Right.
it's really depend on your personal goal and what you are earning, what you're spending, and like how much you want to save, how much you want to invest. Is really up to you. It's really
That's
up to you.
interesting. I mean, bro, like it's interesting that you're that. Like I actually did, I didn't know like I knew that you were in the financial world, but like
Yeah.
it's been a while since I've seen you, so it's like
Yes.
I guess we haven't really even like had a chance to even talk about this. Like
Yeah.
when did you get into all this?
Well, I would say that since I moved to Canada
Okay, how
because
long was that? When did you come to Canada?
3 years ago actually,
Okay, wow, really interesting.
2017. Yeah.
I always felt like it was longer, bro. I don't know why. Like I met
Yeah, just
you.
3 years ago,
Yeah.
2017. I think we met in 2000, end of 2017, 2018 actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you came 3 years ago. So that's when you
Yeah.
started like getting into this world.
I actually started getting into this world, I should say, until the beginning 2019. So
Oh
1 year
wow.
ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's been 1 year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's been 1 year.
what
Almost 2 years
like
now.
motivated you get into this?
So basically, as a newcomer to Canada, like as a student, I was a little bit disoriented because I
Right.
come to a new country, I don't know the language because I
Mm-hmm.
speak French.
Yeah.
So like it's a new country, like I don't know what a checking account, what a saving account, what a credit card, like I don't have any clue about it, you know. So I was taking some English classes when I arrived to Vancouver for roughly 8 months, where
Mm-hmm.
it was very learning the basic of English, knowing the language and other stuff. And why I was learning that during those months, I was also interested about entrepreneurship. Because back home, I used to do a lot of entrepreneur projects like real
Okay.
estate, car selling, and other stuff. And coming to a new country was a little bit different for me. So while learning English, I started reading the book Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
by
Okay.
by reading the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, I had I read the book. I got excited. I wanted to invest my money. I wanted to make some return with the money that I had. You know.
Yeah. Of
So
course.
I start looking online, and knowing that I'm new to Canada, I didn't really have a clue or where I was going or what I was doing. I was just searching up online on Google, and I got scammed out. I got scam out. I lost more than 5,000.
Oh, you told me that. I remember.
I
You
told you
told me
that.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I explained to you that. So after that, it's really when I realized that I was scammed, it really shocked me. It really like I was like, hold on, wait a second, like I have to do a reset. Like I have to really understand, start processing what really happened here.
Yeah. Of course.
So after that incident, I start uh, learning about the financial world, start learning about entrepreneurship, reading a ton of books in order to get educated first.
Of course.
By being educated, once you learn, later you can earn. You can learn by actually have a proper knowledge that will help you be more productive and be more successful. So
Mm-hmm.
I start learning about the financial world. I've always been interested about stock, like seeing like most, not stock but especially forex, for example, foreign exchange market, like how can people can see a graph and make money out of it. So like I was very I would say interested in about it. So I started making a lot of research, bought some courses online, and then when I start working at I would say my job actually as well helped me to learn more about the financial world,
Yeah, of
especially when I
course.
started working for TD as a customer
Mm-hmm.
service associate. I had a chance to learn the whole system, like how we finance the financial world work, what the basic transaction from people depositing cash, where it's money. So knowing the all about like all the, I would say, everything about the system. I'm still learning, but from the time that I spend there since I started working, I've been able to acquire a lot of knowledge that actually people don't have or people don't know. So yeah, I would say that's how it all started.
That's very interesting because you said 1 year, like
Yeah,
it's crazy that you said 1 year. So I mean, so before that, so obviously you're still young, but you
yeah, I'm
grew
a
up
student.
like, and you still have a long way to go, which is
Yeah,
crazy. But clearly that means you before that, if it's only been 1 year, then you're definitely doing something before that. So
yes.
so the financial world, like it didn't hit your head until 1 year, like it didn't really like wasn't something that you like, or is it something that you grew up with, or is it just something that you're like, oh, you know what, I want to check out the financial world, and then you just literally
Yeah.
went from there?
It's definitely not something you grow up with, because you know
Of
the
course.
reality in Africa, like parent and the it's a different reality there. People are mostly in surviving mode, not even like thinking about saving up or like
Hmm.
for later. So I didn't really grow into the financial world because my father is ophthalmologist, like medicine. So
Hmm.
I didn't. He didn't even have like some sort of knowledge. But I did some accounting. Accounting. I had my accounting degree back home
Right.
before moving to Canada. So I kind of had a little bit of idea about the financial world. And then until later here, 1 year ago, when I actually started working at the bank, that's
Hmm.
when I realized that I really need to take care of my finances. I really need to know more about the financial industry and how it works and how I can benefit from it, I would say.
Are you here for like a certain amount of time, or are you like a
Uh, so
permanent?
I'm here for a certain amount of time. Like right now,
Okay.
I'm on a work permit. I'm not.
Okay.
So my plan wasn't even to come to Canada, bro.
So what brought you to
So, like,
Canada? Like what
like
happened?
So, as I told you, I graduated in
Yeah, of
accounting.
course.
So my plan was to go to France, like Paris,
Ah,
continue my study
makes
there,
sense.
and then
Yeah,
later move to London into an English company.
I
But
see.
I had intense. I will not fight. I will say intense conversation with my parents because they wanted me to learn English. They were like, no, English is a feature. You really have to learn English before continuing. I was like, no, there is no way I go to Canada. I
Yeah,
don't
it
know anyone
happens.
there.
I get it. I
And at
get
the
it.
time, like at the time I had like I was managing a real estate property for my family too.
Hmm.
So watching that and seeing the cash flow that was I was making there and helping your cars in here and there with different projects, especially selling cars and porting and other stuff. So I didn't really want to get far away from that because you are working, you have your bread and butter, like you
Yeah,
have something actually you are doing, like you see the future in it, and then your parent asking you like to just leave everything and then go to a different country, like
of
you don't know
course,
the
of course.
language, you don't know. So I got to a point like where my father was telling me, you either go to Canada or you leave my house.
Yep, you have your dad's African. I know that.
Yeah, African parent, typical
Yep,
African
I
parent.
know
So
what
I
you
was
mean
like,
because yeah, my dad's from Senegal, and yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
West Africa. I know exactly what you just said. I know exactly what that is. And
So
you're
I was
from,
like, well,
and the audience,
yeah,
for the audience who don't know, Cheikh's from Ivory Coast. You grew up in Abidjan, right?
yeah, Abidjan, yeah, in Côte
Do you speak
d'Ivoire,
French? Do you
Abidjan.
speak another language?
Just French, French,
Interesting.
a little bit of Arabic because growing up in a Muslim community, I have to learn for religion purpose, and then
Yeah,
yeah,
that's interesting
when I
because
moved here, learn
yeah.
yeah,
No, no, it's interesting
I go,
because Keita is actually it's similar to John like us, the Manding or Mandinko or John K.
Yeah,
So
Mandeng. Yeah,
like
actually, my friend is Mandeng. Yeah, yeah.
you're defiled Manding? So we're pretty
Oh,
much
yeah,
in the
yeah.
same tribe.
He's,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
pretty much the same
Small world.
tribe. Yeah, actually, yeah.
That's crazy. My
He,
dad
he,
no, you're saying?
yeah. So the origin of my family are originally from Mali, actually,
Oh,
and
same.
then yeah, Mali, and then like we moved back to Côte d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
My great grandparent moved to Côte d'Ivoire,
Okay.
Abidjan, and then
We
yeah,
might we
that's
might
how.
low key be cousins, bro. I'm not even kidding. You know
You
my
never
dad.
know.
Huh? Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I actually have family in Cote d'Ivoire. I don't know who they are, but my dad always says I
yeah,
have family there. My dad used to live there actually. He lived there
yeah. That's there.
for
Yeah.
I think for a few years. He was
Mm-hmm.
telling me how he used to sell like plastic bags.
Yeah.
Like he did that for himself, and then he started making money from that, and that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of how his entrepreneurship was over there. Is it like kind of like Senegal is very like entrepreneurial, so people are always
Yes.
selling rice and they're selling,
Yes.
especially with
Yes.
agriculture. Is it like that over there
Mm-hmm.
too?
In Ivory Coast, I will say yes. It's very entrepreneurial spirit. It's basically the same spirit. Like people, especially invest in agriculture, like
Mm-hmm.
mostly vegetables, like tomatoes and rice. And we are not product. We are not. We are. How can I say that in English?
What's
We
it in
don't
French?
produce enough of rice for the
Okay.
country, so we do have to import. We do have to import it. But a
Yeah,
lot
of
of
course.
people are mostly entrepreneurial focused, like selling here and there. Like even at school, you will have like small. I had like actually at school I was selling like a bakery when I was in high school and then beginning of university. So
Yeah,
it's always this spirit of entrepreneurship, trying to sell things to make money for yourself and live up for yourself. Because there is not very is not a very advantageous country or continent to
of
say
course,
compared
of
to
course.
Canada, where people have mostly everything that they need. Like people are back there, like actually are in need of looking for constantly looking for the food of a day, you know.
Of
So
course, of course.
you have to hustle really hard.
Yeah, in Senegal, same thing. Every day, people
Yeah,
are either in the market, so you see people in the streets just selling their stuff.
yeah,
Like, yeah, it's a different world, man. It's something that it's nice because the life over there is a little bit different. You know, life there, people
yes,
are more relaxed, people are more chill. You know,
mm-hmm.
you go to someone's
Yes,
house, everybody's just like it's kind of. Whereas here it's a little different. It's a little more
mm-hmm,
like
mm-hmm.
everyone's kind of doing their own thing. Like
That's right, that's
even when
right.
I was there, it's like it's interesting. Like, what do you think, bro? Actually, I was actually thinking about this because now
Yeah,
I know what you do and your knowledge, right? If you can go
mm-hmm.
back, like if you ever go back and
Yes,
try to implement something that you've learned, what would be that thing
yes.
that you would implement in terms of what it could be finances or whatever, like based on your learning experiences now?
Based on my learning experience, I would definitely say finances and
Finances,
mostly real estate.
real
Finances
estate.
and real estate because there is a lot of potential back there, especially in real estate. But for the financial industry, I will say that it will have to be adapted. Actually start by the basic by having a financial literacy
Yeah,
work as a background in order to prompt people to think about their future and the financial management. So if I have to go back, I would say that that would be my main focus there. But it's very tough, bro. It honestly is very tough because here, like you are even working a job at Starbucks or like at McDonald's, you have enough to pay your rent. You have enough
mm-hmm.
to live to live off, you know. You don't really need much. But back there, like bro, like people don't even have like $1 a day.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
like it's a very different system. It's a very different environment. So probably have to come up with a innovative solution in order to help people get out and then push more entrepreneur spirit and then like
Mm-hmm.
help people actually realize the potential and don't think out of the box, I would say, and then see longer than outside of just your city or your country, you know.
Of course, of course. No, because it's interesting that you say that because when I was in Senegal too, like one thing
Yeah.
that was very lacking, there's what happens where we're from, right, is there's a
Yeah.
few scenarios, right? There's people who will do the clandestine, so they'll go
Yes.
and they'll take the boat and they'll go to Spain, Italy, whatever.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
there's
Yes.
people who are maybe they're here, maybe they're over there, maybe they're even within the country, they're doing well, right? And
Yes.
those people they're there, right? And then there's
Mm-hmm.
the people who are who don't do anything. So they sit,
Yes.
they drink tea, they do this, and the unfortunate thing, you know that already, right? The unfortunate thing is the people, the ones in the middle who are working,
Yes.
and whether it's here, whether it's over there, back home,
Yeah.
whatever, those are the
Mm-hmm.
people who are providing for literally everybody,
Everything.
right?
Yeah. Everybody. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's very interesting that like sometimes, like I always thought, like when I was there, I was like, man, like if I could do anything, what would I do? I was thinking, oh, maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'll like create like a library or something like that. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
bro. Like what do you think we could do, man? Like I don't know. Like we always talk about like, oh, how we can develop Africa and stuff like that.
Africa.
But
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
realistically, like what can we do? Like I don't know. I was thinking about building a library or something, like having like a libraries and stuff like that. But I don't know, bro. Like it's because I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of it too is a mentality thing.
Yes.
But
Definitely. Definitely.
there are,
So
but yeah,
yeah.
go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. I was just saying that, like, no, like it's there's two sides. There's a mentality thing, but there's also people
Yes.
like you said who are actually struggling. Like people who
Yes.
maybe they've like because there's poverty there, right? So people
Mm-hmm.
who
Mm-hmm.
have never even seen the other side, or people who have never even like like my parents, they grew up in a village, right? So a lot
Yes.
of the people like they've never even left the village, or they've never even
Yes.
been
Yeah.
to a city in their life. So
City
that's a
live. Yeah.
different factor. But
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm mentioning more about people with the mentality, like people who are like
Yes.
young, they're well abled. Yeah, but I don't know, man. Like, what do you think? I don't know. I'm just kind of blabbering
So
here.
as you mentioned, like the first fight will be the mentality.
Yeah,
Actually changing people mentality, making them aware of like what's available to them,
yeah, of
by doing
course.
a very like a very it you really need to be like go to the roots, like deep down, and then like educate people. Education is a key because you can provide, you can give a fish to someone, but better to teach him how to fish himself so he'll be independent. As you mentioned, there's different category. There's people that sitting that
Yeah,
waiting
there's
for
different
for
categories.
yeah, and then like there's people actually struggling that actually want to strive. So I will say that mostly first focus on people that actually have a desire, that actually show that they really want to be successful, to work in their life and other stuff, and support them by having like different I would say a non-organization profit where you can provide material and learn education material to them. Something that will be you don't need to because when I came here, I was discussing with the husband of a friend of mine. He's European and she's African, and he was when I was telling him that, oh, I'm going to Canada. He was telling me, why are you going to Canada? Like Africa is like heaven. Like you can make like a lot of money. You can make
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
there's a
yeah.
lot of opportunity and potential there. So for people actually that realizing those potential, I will say that the you do have people that have projects but don't have like lacking financement, that don't have like people to support them providing. Like I met so many people that have great idea, great product, but they didn't have enough fund in order to someone to believe in their dream, to
Of
like
course, of course.
to support them. So that one project that I have in heart, like really kind of focusing on an investment fund, like a capital fund that's down the road that I will be implementing that, but working on a capital fund or investment fund that will be
Mm.
investing in those young entrepreneurs by
Yeah,
either doing a partnership or doing helping them actually a partnership and also a coaching and mentoring, especially in the business field. Having like a sort of academy where you can actually provide them the knowledge that we acquire here or the knowledge that available and then they can take care of themselves, but they can take care of themselves by themselves. They won't need like anyone to hold their hand, you know. So that's something that I think will be definitely be important, especially in the region where we are from, by helping the people first that really want to be helped, and then like down the road it will, and hopefully pray that it will impact the mentality of everyone else and have a sort of ripple effect, you know, because you can't really do anything. You can't really do anything.
Yeah,
So
of course.
so
No,
I
you're
would
right.
say that that would be the main project that I would say that can we can do in order to support our brother and sister back in Africa.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there because like as much as like even it could be even here, it could anywhere. Obviously, everywhere in the world, right? You'll
Yes.
see like ambitious, people that are very ambitious, and there's some people who are more like they're it's like they're more like they're okay with their
With
lifestyle,
what
and
they
that's
have.
fine.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Um, and I find that I don't know, it's interesting because even like at the end of the day, you have to, as a human being, like you have to take that action, right? So, my
Yes.
uncle
Yeah.
has my uncle has a store, right? He has his
Mm-hmm.
shop, right? And he's been doing it for a couple of years now, right? He's there, he's doing his thing, but every day there's
Mm-hmm.
always people who come in, who are always relaxing, chilling, this, that,
Feeling,
and
yeah,
then they're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like it's kind of like, and then sometimes they're kids in Europe, and then it's interesting. Um, I've also, yeah, but I've like I said, I've seen, but I also seen like a lot of people who are also like very doing it good over there. They're making good money over there,
Yeah.
which people may
Mm-hmm.
be like, oh, like there's people that do make good money over there. Like they really focus on their education, and they
Mm-hmm.
really,
Mm-hmm.
really like took that opportunity, and especially young
Other
people now,
country, yeah.
like especially now, because
Yes.
over there right now, like people can learn Spanish, they can learn English, they can
Yes.
learn.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone
Mm-hmm.
there knows French. Like if you're a young
French, yeah.
person, you know French. Like
Mm-hmm.
if
Mm-hmm.
you going to school, during my
I'm going to
dad's
school,
time,
yeah.
like people didn't go to school because they had to
Mm-hmm.
farm,
Yes.
they had to do all these different things,
Different
and
thing, yeah.
it was tough back then. Now it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's I feel like now there's a little bit more opportunity for people because
Opportunity, yeah. That's true.
there's there's more options, but at the same time too, like
Yes.
you said, there's a lot of things that are there's a lot of factors. There's a lot of things that
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna take a little bit longer for, but I don't know. When I was there, I saw a lot of opportunities. Like when I saw the agriculture, I was like, man, there's so much things you can
Mm-hmm.
do. You
Yeah.
can people have their own houses there, and they have like their own like little gardens, and
Garden, yeah.
it's so. When I was there, what I noticed is, and this may be my region, it wa-
Mm-hmm.
it was the soil was so rich, and like one
Yes.
thing my uncle would always say, like, hey, like the soil is so rich, but you see like it's there's no trees, and he's like, I'm
Yes.
like, oh, why is no
Yeah.
trees? He's like, oh, people just don't want to, they're just lazy, they don't want to actually like build the trees, right?
Build the tree,
So
yeah, yeah.
I don't know, man, like it's interesting. Like how was it like for you when you grew up there? Like because obviously you spent most of your life there, right?
All the time, yeah, yeah. So basically, growing up in Ivory Coast, I would say that we did had pretty much everything that we need,
Of
you
course.
know, because it was is Ivory Coast is one of the I would say uh, most developed country in the West Africa. We do
Yeah.
have Ghana, Senegal that I actually am very like impressed with the development right now,
Hmm.
the project that they're working on. But growing up, we pretty much had everything. We didn't really had access to internet because I think that internet is a big factor in it nowadays. But we didn't. We went to good school. Like family was a father was able to provide for us. Like it was pretty okay. I would say very decent, modest family. Yeah, it was pretty okay.
How does it compare to life here?
Life here, life here is so much better though. Like
Hmm.
because here, like there back then, like you were under your parent, you were under your parent wing. Like you were not doing things by yourself. But growing up and when I start getting into different businesses there and coming here, I would say that there you definitely have a lot of opportunities. Like it's definitely having a lot of opportunities you can capitalize on and be able to have like insane return. But here as well, it's just like you just have to choose about like lifestyle and then how you feel, because here when you went there, like for example as your recent trip that you were in Dakar, like how did you feel, like do you think that you'll be uh, living there, or like would you prefer living there or here, because each place
Yeah,
have its own advantage and disadvantage.
of course, of
Here
course.
for example, like you're able to find a good job that will be able to help you provide for yourself, your family, and take care of yourself. But back there, you won't be able to find like a job that will be matching the need here.
Right,
Like even
stable
the
job. Yeah,
small job, like a stable job, let's say, there like people are hustling like to find a job.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like
People are on the streets. They're like selling even this water bottle. They'll be like, "Oh, you want to buy?"
yeah,
They'll people are
you
literally
want
for those of you guys who don't know, like if you go there, even if you're driving, right? There's people on
yeah,
the streets walking around the streets,
walking on the
like
street.
just selling stuff, and they're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
like you want to buy it?" And then they'll come up to you. They're like, "Hey, hey, hey," and then
Yeah,
like
like
so
yeah, trying
it's
to
like that,
bargain and stuff.
and
Yeah.
sometimes it's like super hot too. Like the weather, it could
Yes,
be
if,
like
if the
super
weather
hot, and
is
they're
very
still
hot. Yeah.
walking, and they're still. It's crazy. It's crazy the
Yeah.
way how and that's how they survive. That's how a lot of people
Yeah, that's
there.
how we survive, because you grow up into that, and then like you just have this survival instinct. Like, okay,
Yeah,
I need to make money today. Like, if I want to eat tonight, like some people are even like sleeping on the street. But what I really like about it, like even people like on the street that doesn't have enough, they will always come up with a creative idea in order to have money at the end of the day, like by say that, oh, like starting by begging, oh, can I have like I will say $1, $2, and then I will say that, oh, I need those one because I want to buy for example a tissue that I can sell like to car people that are working. So when you see this kind of spirit, it actually help you want to help them more. You know, like give them more money. Okay, I know that you don't have enough money. At least I know that you won't put it into like drug or like alcohol or
of
like
course,
just
of
like
course.
spending money. It's just because you need a small capital to start to buy actually something and actually make you a return and start like being by yourself. You know, but here I maybe because I haven't been really I would say I haven't been really in I would say immersed in this in those situations, but I kind of feeling that people over here as well are a little bit lazy. That waiting when I'm comparing, like
Of course.
because
No,
I see
I agree.
you have
I
some
agree.
nice, you want to help out, like, oh, can I have like a coin for like for a beer? Can I have a coin for like for a drug, like sometime on Greenwich Street? So I'm like, well, like I can give you money, but I don't want you to take that money to like just spend it like on drug and alcohol. I can give you money, but I want that to help you actually get out of this situation. It's not a lot, but at least buy something, selling up, and have like something that can help you change your situation. You know, so I will say that here, what I notice, people are a little bit too comfortable with the lifestyle. They are a little bit too comfortable, like with what they have. Like even though like they have a government assessment back there, which government is gonna pay you? Like
Yep, yep, yep.
which
Exactly.
government is gonna assist you? Like
No
it's
syrup over
not even a
there.
country now.
No
Yeah,
stimulus. So like when people
no
complain about
stimulus,
stimulus,
nothing,
so this and that, like
nothing.
no, there's nothing. And still, like you can still find a certain job if you need to. Like
Yes,
worst
yeah,
case scenario, you could find something. Like
something
obviously, like
definitely.
there's something that you could find, whether it's remote, whether it's even now, like there's things that you can find right now, right? So it's like, no,
Definitely.
I agree with you there. It's interesting. It's interesting that you say that because even for me, growing up here, one thing that I've noticed is, and this is something we all know, like immigrants, people that come from different countries, immigrants tend to do a lot better simply because like it's just it's like when they come here, it's like there's two scenarios. Either like they come so that they can build a better life for their kids, or they come so they
Yeah,
can like build the thing that they wanted to always build, right? And
build, yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's interesting to see that because even when I was there, like like my aunts, they would work every day. Like they would be at the
Mm-hmm.
market from the morning to the night
Yes.
every single day. They'd
Tonight,
be
every
there
single
all
day.
day long. That's their life. That's what they do. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's their life. They're like they're merchants, right? And
Yeah.
I feel like now, and what it could be because of social media, but
Yeah.
I have a lot of cousins that are going to Spain or Italy or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, they're just there. And sometimes it's like I'm finding too that the reason why I say mentality now for
Yeah.
certain individuals is because
Mm-hmm.
they're in Spain, they're in somewhere. Well, their economy is not as good, of course. However,
Mm-hmm.
it's like there's a whole bunch of people living in one house, and like
Yeah.
one person's providing for everyone, and they haven't gotten work. They've been there for years too, and they haven't gotten work. They're not doing anything there. And sometimes I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, man, like if this person had this mind mentality when they were there, when they get
Yeah.
to this area, they're probably gonna have that same mentality there. And it's
That's
interesting that you say that,
sometimes
because
like it.
the thing about it too is when you find that person who, like you said, that has that, the $1, they're kind of doing that. When they come to a
Mm-hmm.
country like here, they
Oh
know
no.
exactly like what they're gonna do. Like they have a
Yes.
plan, they have a game
Yeah.
plan. Like they know exactly what they're gonna do. So it's like
That's
it's
true.
very interesting that, I don't know, man. Like I find it interesting. I don't know. What do you think? Like it's fun. It's
Mm-hmm.
interesting that mindset plays a lot
Mind,
into.
especially mindset plays a lot. Like the mind. Honestly, you just need to get like as Gary Parker used to say. I don't know if you
Hey,
met him on Instagram. Yeah, shout out to him.
Gary
Like
Park. I haven't seen him in a while. I should call him up for a podcast. Actually, I
yeah,
haven't
yeah,
talked to him in a
definitely.
while.
Yeah,
Actually, I hope he's doing
yeah.
well.
Hmm. So he used to say on Instagram, "You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know." So basically, mindset and information are the key. Like when you haven't been exposed to it, like you can't really think about it. Like if you've been growing up your whole life just like being in a household and one person is just providing for everyone else, like you're just gonna carry on with this mindset. Me, when I moved here, like if I hadn't had like this incident, like when I got scammed, I don't think that I would be able to be where I am today. Like I probably have a different mentality. I probably have a different way of thinking, of a different way of seeing life. So I said that people change in a way that they have a impactful things that happen in their life, even impactful event that happen in their life, especially if they lost someone or like something really shook them. So they kind of like realizing, okay, hey, I need to take off myself, or I need to take off my friends, or I really need to take care of myself if I don't want to end up in a different situation that I don't desire, you know. So regarding the mindset, I would say that one thing that play a lot, and you actually have people that have a mentor, or like that have a cousin, or that have like a different friend that actually uh, have the knowledge and are willing to share with you, willing to assist you. Like for example, when I came here, like, and I started reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, I was so amazed with the information that I got from the book. Like I bought the book and I sent it to my dad back home. I was
Oh,
like,
really?
Dad,
Does your
literally.
dad speak English or?
He doesn't speak English, but
Okay.
he's learning right now because
Okay.
since he's ophthalmologist, most of his material are in English, so
Mm-hmm.
he's just getting into it now. But
Okay.
I sent him a French copies, and I was like, read this book; it will literally change your perspective. And discussing with him after he read the book, he was like, "That's true," because growing up, like no one really teach you like how to manage your finances in school. Like your parents, if they are not already I would say a wealthy area, or they are not already having this knowledge, they won't teach you. Like no one will come and tell you about those information. But when you come across a good information and you think that it will benefit to someone, like I always share to to my close one. Like I recently had a cousin that got his he finished high school and he went to France to continue his studies. The first thing that when he arrived there, first thing that I sent it to him, read Rich Dad Poor Dad in French. Not like it's a very good book that actually it was eye opener for me.
Yeah,
It was really
I
an
get
eye
it.
opener
Yeah.
for me. So like I recommend it to everyone that can read it. Not especially like getting into like a different having like multi-level marketing or and stuff, but for your personal development. And then once I started reading that book, it pushed me more to start reading about different books, like looking for more and more and more and more that actually helped me learn. It gave me the the energy to want to learn more. I wasn't a big reader back home. Like I hated reading. I hated reading, honestly. But after I started reading those books of personal development and all stuff, it really helped me a lot. It really helped me a lot.
I like that. No, it's funny you say that. The first book that I that I really got into, like in terms of self development, was Rich Dad Poor
Mm.
Dad, and
Yeah.
what that book really is back, I think 20 years, something like that. And what
Mm-hmm.
that, because before that, like what happened for me was when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my career, I was like, what do I want to do? Like, because there's all the generic ones, be an
Yes.
engineer, be an
Yeah.
electrician. Everyone was like, oh, do a
Electrician. Yeah.
trade, do a trade, do a trade. Then
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at the papers. I was like, wait, 70K a year, 75K a year, and I was like,
Yeah.
wait, but there's millionaires out there. Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
can I not like do something like that? Like, I was trying to figure out that. Like, I couldn't understand. Wait, why are there millionaires in the world? And like
Yes.
everyone's telling me to like do this. And then I
Do
kind
this.
of
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
into Rich Dad Poor Dad, like you said, and
Mm-hmm.
it kind of offered like a different perspective. And
Yes.
even though like I like I'm not a millionaire or whatever it is, like whatever
Mm-hmm.
the case is, like I still it helped me develop this mindset that
Mindset. Yeah.
like it just changed everything. And like you said, like I
Mm-hmm.
got into like reading different types of books.
Yeah.
I need to start reading again. I haven't read in a while. Been not doing audiobooks, but it
Other
helped me
books
a
are very
lot.
good too.
Just like even
Mm-hmm.
mindset, even in terms of like my career, finding a career path. I realized that it's not necessarily the job that you have or this and that. It's also like the skill. Like that's another part. It's the skill that you have in terms of your like
Yes.
whatever you're doing, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
having assets, things like
Asset. Yeah.
liabilities and just things that like thinking different about the way that
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
approach
Mm-hmm.
money. It's not necessarily
That's right.
like what's that book? It's I think it's called Millionaire Next Door, right? I don't know. It's something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I noticed was a lot of the people there, they were just people that worked like they had like made a certain like 70K a year or whatever. But
Yeah.
it wasn't necessarily that they made 70K a year. It was the way that they managed certain
They
amounts of
manage
money.
it. That's
So
correct.
it's like, and then they were saying there's doctors out there, this and that, but that's why like you see a lot of athletes. That's why you see a lot
Mm-hmm.
of like actors, and you see a lot of people go broke after a while because
Yeah.
when you get
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
money thrown at you, you don't know what you're doing with it. You don't know how to
What you're
handle
doing,
it.
you don't manage
You
it.
know how to
Yeah.
manage
Yeah.
it. You start to think, oh yeah, this money's gonna come forever, but that money will end
Mm-hmm.
eventually, and then
And
it's
eventually, yeah.
so. I find that it's a very good point that you mentioned there about
Mm-hmm.
uh
Mm-hmm.
the how Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that's even something for me. Like when like there's a few books that have been like monumental for me, and I
Yes.
always reread
Yeah.
those books. Even Rich Dad Poor Dad, I read when I was in Senegal. I reread the book. Like I reread
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
book
Yeah.
every like at least once every 2 years because those are the types of
Mm-hmm.
books that kind of like they change your approach to
Your approach, yeah, definitely.
things. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, man, like I actually also want to talk about well the dean, because
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes.
I know that like because you're a Muslim, obviously like me, so I kind of want to talk about
Yeah.
that as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
how like has the dean like how do you incorporate the dean into your lifestyle? Like how do you feel like it benefits
Well, so first of all, like I think that thank you very much for bringing that subject. Honestly, like growing up in a Muslim family, my parents are very, very, very religious.
you? Mm-hmm.
So like since we were a baby, like we grew up in it, like in a religion and the deen. So I always thought that like that's something that will benefiting me wherever I go, and I could never ever go astray from it. Sometimes you do have a difficult time, like you do have like your faith like go down and go up, like you do have those different phases. But I honestly like say that it's something that will be forever with me, and I pray Allah to help me like stay in that way. Growing up, my father once told me when I was 5 or 6 with my younger brother. One night he called us and sat us. He said that I wanted to tell you something very important that you should never ever forget about in your life when you'll be growing up. Um, I'm very well off right now. I have like I can provide for you, I can provide for everything to you. But when I will be dying, like I won't leave anything for you. I won't leave anything for you beside except the Quran. The Quran and music. That the
Right.
only that the only thing that I will leave to you, because you can have like all the problem of the world, you can
Mm.
have like everything. The only person, the only thing that you be able, the only person that will be able to assist you is Allah.
Right. I
Just take
agree.
your prayer, my prayer, you do your turaka or whatever it is, like Allah will always support you, will always help you no matter what. Never ever count on people or like be attracted by people that have money or like begging. Like Allah created this world. He's the one that have like all the wealth or everything that you want in this life. So if you ever have an issue, you ever have a problem, just refer to your Quran, to your zikr, to your prayer mat, make them your best friend. So coming to your question saying that how I incorporate it to my life, every morning you have to do your fast prayer. You have to do. I'm very like on top of that every morning doing my fast prayer, reading Quran, and actually there was a video that I wanted to show it to you. I think it was by Mufti Mek or like Mufti Mek. I think he was talking about how reading the Quran or just like being praying, like doing a zikr for 20 minutes every morning before you leave your house,
Hmm.
like a huge impact in how your day goes by.
Hmm.
That's something that I've been experimenting, like
Yeah.
every morning, like when I'm reading my Quran, only one page or something like that before I start my day,
Of
bro,
course.
my day go like flawless. I don't have any main client. I'm in a super good mood. I'm like super, like I'm super happy and everything goes smoothly. However, the day I miss Fudge and I'm kind of waking up late and I'm like going like I'm on a rush, like my day goes by not as good as the day that I'm reading Quran. Honestly, not it's just that's something that I just noticed like personally. Like
Mm.
it doesn't go away. Something will come up. Either I will have a speeding ticket or I will have like an issue at work with a main or road client or like something like not gonna feel right. I won't be feeling right. So I will say that that's something that I treasure. I don't really put it like out there. I don't really like post it on social media because that's something I think it's my personal relationship
Of course.
with
Of course.
Allah and
Yeah.
me.
I agree.
So
I agree 100% with that. I
like
agree.
honestly, so at the beginning it was a little bit tough. Here, coming here
Mm-hmm.
to a new country, a new culture, it was really tough. It
Yeah.
was really tough because you kind of feel disoriented, like you used to be to have your own habit, like with the time differences, like especially during Ramadan, like bro, the first year, like it hit me literally, like because
Yep.
back home you fast like 5 to 6 p.m. and here you find yourself like doing like 3 o'clock to 10
Oh yeah.
p.m. So
The time difference is crazy.
like the
The
time
time difference is
difference, like
insane. Yeah.
it's insane. So like that's something, but alhamdulillah we were able to get used to it. And then yeah, but coming to the daily routine, like I would say, that's something that really, really, really important no matter what I do. And what everything that you have, like, is the promotion. Like, if you really don't have like this spiritual relationship, like with God, with Allah, like I don't think that you will be able to be, something will always be missing. Something will always be
Mm.
missing.
Yeah, no, I agree because it's funny that you say that because
Mm.
like especially things like missing Fajr, right? Like
Yeah.
when I notice when I miss Fajr, like my mood, my mood is not. I'm not in the best mood. I
Yeah,
notice
yeah.
it. I notice it. Even my
Mm-hmm.
anxiety goes up.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
day kind of just feels average, and it's
Mm-hmm.
funny too because like even what you just mentioned, right? Like even if you are a millionaire, right? If even
Yeah.
if you're whatever, like you have a lot of money, this and that, you're successful in this dunya, right?
Yeah.
One thing that I will say though is what the miss thing especially could be missing is baraka, right? Like
Yes, yes.
I feel like especially when I make like even when I take things slow, when I have the right intention for something, like
Mm-hmm.
which is also why my when I restarted my social media, I restarted everything because I had a decent audience on Instagram. I was doing
Yeah.
okay on YouTube with my other channel, and then
Mm-hmm.
I just deleted everything because I realized that there's two things. One was I wasn't doing the right thing in terms of
Mm-hmm.
photography, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't being true to myself and also true to my
Mm-hmm.
deen.
Yes.
And I was compromising. I was doing things that I
Mm-hmm.
knew that I shouldn't do, but I was doing it.
Yes. You're doing it.
So
Yeah.
what happened was at some point I just started to feel very empty and I started to feel like
Yes.
this is not what I should do. And since making
Mm-hmm.
this channel, like I made this new channel, I made,
Mm-hmm.
a new Instagram account, and I've always been I've tried, I'm a human being, of course, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I
Yeah.
try to
I
make it
know.
as authentic as possible. And since
Yes.
then, like anytime I make a video, anytime I make an Instagram post, anytime I make a story, it means something to me. And even if
Mm-hmm.
it's just a few people watching it, even if it's just not like, it's there's something there. And I really attest it to Baraka because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like it's when you're true to that, you keep things like in the best way possible for
In the best
in the
way
halal
possible. Yeah.
way. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like even if it's like even if I work in a job, right? Like now it's like I'm going to personal training, but even it's like I find a job, I find that even then, like once I ask the workplace, hey, is there a place where I can pray? Then something
Mm-hmm.
happens. Like I don't know, it's funny because every place that I've worked at, like right,
Yes.
when I start to ask them, hey, is there a spot where I can pray? And then when there is a
Mm-hmm.
spot I can pray, when I'm there, the business they hit records. Like
Wow.
the last yeah, like there's a place I worked
Mm-hmm.
at, they hit the record. The place that I worked at,
Wow.
they hit the record, and I was like, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't
Yeah.
want to obviously say, oh yeah, it is, but I feel like it
Yeah.
does
But
it does kind of attest to it because the thing
mm-hmm.
is that the baraka it's kind of
Yeah.
spreading around. Just the
Spreading
fact that
around. Yeah.
these people are saying yes, you can pray here. It's like a good deed
Mm-hmm.
on their part,
A
and
good
it's
thing on
something
the
that
head. Yeah. Yeah.
it's funny because like I never really mentioned this before, but I really
Mm-hmm.
do attest that to baraka, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
something that's very very important, right?
Important,
For
especially,
those
yeah.
of you who are like maybe you're not on your deen, maybe you're not on your deen. We're all human beings. Everybody's on their own path. We're all
Yeah.
flawed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
when you take everything back to the base of the deen,
Yes.
right? You take everything to the base, right? You get back to your salawat. Even when you pray, like
Mm-hmm.
I find that when I pray, when I make my prayers fast, like quick prayers, I notice that my day kind of But when I pray
Yeah.
a lot, like my day's actually still good because I'm still praying,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
when I just do that little like do like a little bit slower, take more time.
Slow,
I
more
make a little
vibe.
dua, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Mm-hmm.
like the day just kind of goes a little bit more like a little more smoother. And sometimes if people ask me, "Do you
Let's move here.
meditate?" I say, "No, I
Mm-hmm.
don't
Yes.
meditate, but I pray 5 times a day."
I pray a family day. Yeah. That's
And
similar to meditation. Yeah.
exactly, and praying 5 times a day,
Mm-hmm.
it's like what you're doing is you're basically saying everything in this world doesn't matter. What really
Yes,
matters
yes.
is my creator, my Lord,
My
the
creator.
one
Yeah,
the one
yeah,
who
yeah.
created me. I will put
Mm-hmm,
this aside, right? And I will say, you know what? I'll go and pray. Right? Sometimes
mm-hmm.
obviously things happen. Sometimes we miss our prayers. Allah forgive us, of
Yeah, yeah.
course. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, sometimes it's like incorporating. That's why I've always tried to like incorporate Islam into
Yes.
like make Islam like the lifestyle, like
The
whatever
lifestyle.
the lifestyle,
Yeah.
whatever I'm doing in my life, whether I'm doing this, whether I'm doing
Mm-hmm,
that.
mm-hmm,
Make sure that
mm-hmm.
Islam is like I incorporate Islam into that
You
lifestyle.
incorporate Islam. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, no, I 100% agree with you there, man. Like, and I feel like I haven't seen you in a while, of course, but I
Yes,
feel
yeah.
like I feel like you're very like you're very genuine in the sense that a lot of people, even when I meet you, when people
Mm-hmm.
that know you, people are always very excited to see you. Like they're like, "Oh,
Yes.
Sheikh!" Like they're very happy to see you. Like they're very very happy. And
Yeah.
like they people are like, and I've noticed that even on social media when you post something, people are commenting, "Hey, yo!" Like people really enjoy being around you. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
obviously I can't say what it is, but do you feel like the dean and like is it something that you grew up with, or is it something that like you like you're raised with, or like to be respectful to other individuals?
Yeah. So I would say that basically, as I told you at the beginning, like
Yeah,
my parents like are very like in the deen, you know. So I grew up with all the value of the deen and the Islam and all those stuff. So
yeah.
that's something that I incorporated myself while being growing up. So that actually reflect my personality because my mother always used to tell me like people don't read Quran, people don't know like what Muslim are and other stuff. It's by being the best at what you do and your behavior that people will see Islam.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she used to tell me.
Yeah,
So like growing up, like of course, like you already, I think, and I would say alhamdulillah, because Allah helped me to be like to be this person. Sometimes I'm very thankful and grateful for Allah, like growing up in this environment because it actually shaped my personality and also don't take things I would say to another level. Like don't think too much about things. Like just let it the way it has to be. You know, something good happened to me, alhamdulillah. Something bad happened to me, like maybe something like worse could have happened, but alhamdulillah, Allah helped me to by doing that thing, you know. But thing Allah permit that thing to happen to me now. So alhamdulillah, you know. So I really don't take things on like a different way. Oh, why did it happen to me? Or like always thinking, no. I'm thinking everything. I'm still very chill person, so I'm probably say that what attract people. And then, like funny enough, when I moved here, like as you mentioned, people really love to be around me. People love to be around me, like super happy, excited to see me and all that stuff. So I was living in I was having I was staying in a homestay family, like this the woman that I was living with, she was like, oh Sheikh, you're my best student, Sheikh, you do that, Sheikh, you do that. So kind of putting like jealousy between me and my roommate too. So sometimes I do feel like a little I that's why I don't really put myself like out there. So because I want to preserve that, you know. I don't want people to have like a lot of eyes over me or like creating jealousy or other
yeah.
stuff.
I like
So I
that.
kind of
I
tend
get
to
it.
be like
Mhm.
on my small space. But when I used to go in the English school, like I had friends from all over the world, like Mexican, like Korean and all stuff. They they've always been shocked when I was telling them that I was Muslim.
Really?
I swear to God.
They were shocked?
They were shocked every single day that I'm saying to someone, oh, I'm Muslim. Like, really? Wow. Like, no, because they do have like this
Perception?
image, except no, image of Muslim being like killing people or like Muslim being bad, or like Muslim doing like, I don't know, raping or like stealing. So they always have like this idea of like Muslim are not a good person or something like that, you know. But by your personality and the way that you welcome them, like before COVID, like I love to have people at my place coming to me, like I would be like cooking dinner, like every time, like people were coming, like, hey, like come over. Like even I met a guy, like I was inviting some friend and they met a guy. They went to an event and they met him. So they invite him and they call me like, hey, Cheikh, we are coming with this friend. Are you okay with it? I was like, yeah, sure. So the guy came over. I was cooking pasta and then like I gave like dinner for everyone. At the end, when he was leaving, he was like, man, like I'm amazed like by how like you don't know me first, you welcome me to your house and you cook dinner for me, like, and you be like, you were very kind and very open, like you knew me before. Like that's something you don't see that a lot. You really don't see that a lot because people are always like on the go, you know, people are busy like doing things, but you don't really see people that are open to everyone and don't really like judge or take things to a first level, you know. So I will say that growing up, like especially seeing my parents doing it as well, that really what helped me, and then like the yeah, how it is. But alhamdulillah, I love the way it is. And then like I'm always doing like for Allah, like you want something, like I'm looking Allah first, you know, before doing any action, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done like expecting something in return. Like never, like
Of course, of
you
course.
need something like, okay, I'm looking for Allah. I just, everyone is looking for a baraka, you know, you're looking for your salawat, you're asking like Allah to bless you and everything. So like I think if Allah is good with you, like in every way, first of all, we are able to breathe, you are able to eat, you are not missing, lacking everything. So like it's very important that you give back to society and reflect your value, reflect everything that you learn in your personality, that how you will be able to change the mentality of people about Muslim and like the view on the general Ummah. You know?
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. Like all the points that you mentioned,
Mhm.
it's very it's very valid. Like you said, like you want
Yeah.
to put the dean, you want to make sure that that the dean is always like it's there. Like you
Is there,
incorporate it
yeah.
and you make sure that
Incorporated, yeah.
and also you're basically like an ambassador for the dean, right? So when people see you,
Yes, yes.
they're like, oh, he's Muslim. Oh, like, and then this and that. And the fact that even that you
Mm-hmm.
decided, you know what, I don't really want to put myself out there too much,
Mm-hmm.
um, because you know because obviously evil eye is a real thing, right? Evil eye is real,
Yes.
right? Even me, like
Mm-hmm.
the fact that I'm doing this stuff. Sometimes what I do, I don't post on my personal accounts. Like I
Yes.
occasionally post like a new profile picture on my personal accounts, but I don't post anything on my
Mm-hmm.
personal account because I don't
Yeah.
because I don't pressure people to follow me on anything because I say, you know what,
Mm-hmm.
if people want
Mm-hmm.
to follow, they can follow. If they
They can
search me
follow,
up, they
yeah.
can search. But I don't want to like
Yeah.
push it on other people. Hey, oh, this is what I'm doing. This is what
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing. Because sometimes
Yeah.
people don't know the behind the scenes. So it's important.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
even before, like I was like, okay, you know, even for me, like when I have kids and stuff like that, or family, I'm not I personally, I'm not gonna post my kids on social media. Like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do
No.
that kind of
No.
stuff.
No. No. No.
Um, so and but the reason for me though, I do this because I kind of want to like kind of show people that you know like regular people like myself or whatever like I can do it like
Mm-hmm.
just apply you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
fitness just you know focus on you know especially like you said you're Dean focus on
Mm-hmm.
staying authentic and staying true to
Yeah.
yourself and that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of so I appreciate you for being authentic in that aspect and
Thank you.
being like you know
Thank you. Thank you very
being
much.
honest and yeah I mean we're about an hour in so I'll probably wrap it up
Yeah.
but do you have like any final words or any kind of wisdom from the Keita.
Wisdom, like in a way that, so I just say to people, be authentic, like just as you mentioned, like be authentic, be yourself, don't miss your salat.
Don't
especially
miss a
fast
salah.
rap.
Yeah, pray 5 times, guys.
Right, so like I
Pray
will
Fajr
say
too.
that we are all human, like we are not perfect, but at least like trying our best to be to trying our best, to be as much as authentic as much as we can to stay in the beat, because uh it's very in the world we are living right now. Like I remember my mother used to tell me, because my me and my mother, we usually she wasn't working when we were younger. She wasn't working. She was always like on top of us, like with religion, like school and other stuff. So she was telling me there will be a time that when the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said there will be a time where holding your religion will be like holding like some coal.
Yeah.
It will be very
Hardcore.
difficult. And
Yeah. Yeah.
right now, like I actually think that we're in the time that the time that he predicted before. I'm actually think sometimes when I'm reflecting and thinking, I'm like, damn, like I think that we are in the time when he said that holding your religion will be like super difficult,
Mm.
because you have so much distraction around, like you have so much distraction, so much temptation, but trying our best to go back to the basic, at
Mm-hmm.
least like once a week, like going somewhere, like meditating, like you as you notice, like I love to go like for road trip.
Yep.
I
You
love
do.
to go
Yeah, I
like
noticed. Yep.
traveling
You
and all
do.
stuff. So
You have a
when I'm
drone
doing
too.
it, like, I'm taking it as like not to just discover, but I'm taking it as a spiritual retreat.
Hmm. Okay.
Because when you go out there and you see a mountain, like you're like, damn, that's the creation of Allah.
Yep.
That's amazing.
I
Like
agree.
I'm
I
always
agree.
amazed, like with the nature, especially here. Back home, you don't see that. You don't see that, but here you see how big it is. Like you see it's very kind of a reminder, and always be grateful. Like saying Alhamdulillah, no matter what, like being grateful, and then like don't be hard on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, don't be hard on yourself. Like what Allah says will be yours. No matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you want, like just take it easy and then trust the process. Like pray, make dua. Like dua really change destiny. I was reading a post of Reze Sheikh on Instagram. That post do like Q&A on his Instagram page. I'll probably send you the link after.
Yeah. Send me.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, he's I really like to see his post on Instagram. That's what I feel like. Going on social media should be like more content that will be helping you to be more, learn more, be more productive, like being able to have more resources, like especially business wise, like as you mentioned, fitness wise, and like especially for the din as well, because that's very, very, very important. That's very important. So
Yeah.
I would also like to thank you for inviting me to your podcast. I really
Oh, man.
appreciate
We
meeting
want to have
you,
you
and
on.
then
I appreciate
I
it. No,
wish you.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
it. No, because I know that you're not. It's not something that you're usually doing, like
Yeah.
making videos and stuff like that. But I appreciate you like saying yes, and I'm
Mm.
happy that we did this podcast. I learned a lot.
Yeah, me
I'm
as
sure
well.
the
Thank you.
viewers learned a lot too. I actually learned a lot. I
Mm.
took in a lot from this conversation.
No,
But
thank
yeah, if
you.
you guys enjoyed, hit the like button. You guys can
Yeah.
check out his handles here. It's already down there, I think. So check it out. But yeah,
Okay.
thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to stay authentic. Peace.
Yes. Yeah.